So in classroom, there's a thing called conflict. Okay, so you're going to be writing on this thing that says pressures in and out. But before you do that, I'm just going to go over some stuff, which is on this slideshow. This is just should be a review for you, but maybe you don't know this stuff. Yeah, make sure you're paying attention. So there's 5 major types of conflict. There's other types, but these are just some of the more basic ones. I want you guys to focus on this idea of external, which means that it's outside of the body, versus internal, which means inside of the person. So this first type of conflict in a story that you might read is called character versus character, right? Which is pretty straightforward. It means like there's a good guy and a bad guy in a story, right? And the good guy is dealing with the bad guy getting in their way.
Oh yeah, we did this before.
Yeah, we've done this before. I'm just reviewing it so that when you go to do this, this is super simple. Right, so the most obvious type of conflict, right? So good guy, bad guy. Some examples of 2 friends getting into a fight, so they stop talking to each other, or like the Avengers versus Thanos, that's good guy, bad guy, right? Pretty simple. Second type conflict you might have in your story that you're reading is a character versus nature. So there's some sort of natural element that they're dealing with. So in the story Moby Dick, it's like a man who's fighting a whale, or you might be having a story about a guy who's dealing with a disease, or you might have somebody trying to survive in the wilderness or fight some sort of animal or whatever outside. That's what character versus nature are. So these are some stories that have character versus nature, right? In The Walking Dead, zombies, obviously, that's kind of nature. In The Fault in Our Stars, it's somebody dealing with their own sickness. Some movies and books that you might have read, this is about like people trying to survive, like a volcano exploding or like the world ending. Another type of conflict is character versus society. Okay, so this deals with somebody who's an outcast. An outcast is somebody who doesn't fit in, right? They kind of like are on the outside, and they're trying to change the way that they're being treated. Usually, it's because the rules are messed up in some way, right? So these are some examples of stories that have character versus society, right? Like The Hunger Games or Divergent, Maze Runner, stuff like that. Mean Girls. Another type of conflict is character versus the supernatural or technology, right? So this is when somebody's trying to deal with technological advances or things like aliens or supernatural forces, right? Again, here's some more examples of that. And the last one is the only one that's internal. This is when the character is trying to deal with a problem within themselves, right? So it might be their self-esteem, or it might be their conscience. They don't know what's good or what's right or wrong, or they might be dealing with some sort of moral issues, right? So that's what character versus self is. So we just finished reading Bell Prater. Bell Prater does have a lot of character versus self inside of it, right? So both Bell and Woodrow are dealing with their own like internal problems that they're trying to figure out and make themselves deal with. All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to read on Learning Ally for a little bit, and then on Classroom, you're going to fill out this graphic organizer. So you'll put the name of your book you're reading, the pages that you read. You're going to write the character, and then the issues they might have. Now, depending on what your book is, it's going to be different, right? So some of your books have characters that have issues with themselves. Some of your books have other issues, right? So there might be character versus character. It might be character versus nature. It might be character versus something else. So you're listing out any of the issues your characters might have. Some of you might fill out one side. Some of you might fill out the other side. Some of you might fill out both sides, depending on your book. So it all depends on the type of book you're reading. All right, so again, you're reading first, good 25 minutes. When you're done, you're filling this out. Does anyone have preguntas? Questions? My question.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Spencer.
Yes, Mr. Diaz.
I'm leaving early. I'm leaving at 2:00 because I have to get flu shots.
Oh.
So at 2:00 I gotta head out.
That's very sad, Mr. Diaz.
I know. I just take needles every.
True. All right. So, if you have questions, let me know. I will help you out. Watch the video